Hey rivals, welcome to Back's Attacks. Today we're taking another look at more of the ancients that were buffed in the February 3rd update for Rival Kingdoms. And we'll be focusing on Amani, Yagumo, Adhira, and Tokemi. Look on the website for the wiki for more information on all these changes. But I want to show you how they look like in actual gameplay. Alright, the first one that we're going to look at is Amani, and her first spell was changed quite a bit, and in some ways it's more complicated, but it's also really quite powerful. The Restoration is the other change. Her tower defense heals other buildings, so that's quite interesting. I have to play around with that one some more to see how useful that is. Alright, so Invigoration, the third spell, and Entangle are not too different, but the first one is where things get tricky. So it's Bark Skin instead of Thorn Shield. The first cast reduces the damage and reflects a little bit of the damage, so that's not unusual. The second cast, all healing effects are doubled, so using Paladins here is very nice. Now the third recast is what makes it interesting. Troops that drop below 25% recover a pretty decent amount of health. They can only happen once, but further Barkskin casts will refresh that effect. And so one of the new options for Amani is to spam that first spell rather frequently in order to keep the troops really rather healthy. So a lot of people are having a lot of success with Amani, especially if you can get her to higher level for longer durations and for more health and for more starting mana. So let's take a couple of attacks with her, and we'll start out with a little bit of an easier base. And at first, I gotta admit, I was kind of overwhelmed by trying to understand what was going on with the multiple spell casts on the Barkskin. But let me just give you a tip: if you're gonna make heavy use of Barkskin, just recast it over and over when you get the getting up to 5 mana. Don't overthink it. So actually that probably hindered my effectiveness in these first attacks. I was trying to think about too much about what was going on and whether to cast or not. You're either going to be casting this one a lot or focusing instead on the second spell. Because really the second spell is quite good with the ability to entangle the buildings, and you get your full mana back after a building dies. And so using a little bit of the first spell and making frequent use of the second spell is one option. Kind of just doing a hybrid here with these spells. So I'm using a mixture of the two. The Barkskin's working well. I'm going to use the Entangle to shut down that Flame Tower. Probably a good idea to use it on the Insanity Tower or the Freeze Tower as well. Troops are not in good shape. Let's see if the Barkskin can help them. I think I waited too long on that one. But by being able to entangle or shut down those defenses, though, even having a few troops still on the town hall or the stronghold, were able to get that. All right, so that was kind of a little bit of a sloppy attack, and using the first and second spell, but not really focusing on either. And honestly, I'm finding that in later attacks, you have better success if you either use the first one very heavily, just spam it over and over, or work to make more extensive use of the second spell. All right, let's try one more attack with money. But this time again, I'm going to switch over to a different attacker, and thank Karasina for help with this one. She's got a level 50 Amani, much higher than mine. And so with a couple of these ancients where mine are very low level, I'm going to hop over to different accounts or different people's recordings just to show how the different levels affect this. So at level 50, you see how much health and we're getting, how much damage with the Entangle, and the Invigorate also very strong health. And so with a higher level of money, let's see how she can do in this battle. Alright, so Stronghold 14, going against a 14. And we'll use a mix of troops here. Get a Mana Hunter to be able to generate some more mana for us, but otherwise have a mixed force there. Alright, so that's just a reminder of what the bark skin's going to do. At this level, it lasts for 14.5 seconds. That's really quite nice. That gives us plenty of time to recast it and to be able to use an occasional entangle as well. Alright, so we'll get the troops the first cast, get the second one, double the healing, do a sweep with the dragon, and get a third one down, so now they've got that protection against low hit point damage. And we're going to refresh it faster than 14 seconds just because we want to be able to reset that third ability if they're taking a lot of damage. So the troops are really having no problem getting into the stronghold and staying alive. And then we can either continue spamming that first spell or now start sprinkling some entangles on the base for cleanup. So with Amani, if you can get down the stronghold, the rest of the base is almost definitely going to fall. Alright, so she's definitely one worth investigating. If you have Amani and haven't tried her out yet, I encourage you to do that after this latest update. Now what about Yagumo? Is he any more useful at this? And again, I'm looking at another person's account here with a level 46 Yagumo, much higher than mine. The Gale cut is the same here. The change was made in the second spell, in the Snake Blood, and the change there is that they gain an additional 30% reduced damage from physical attacks while within the wind vortex. So they're adding some more synergy between the spells, which I think is a good idea. So the idea here is to get that vortex down, then get the second spell, and as needed to throw in a few Gale cuts. This is one that I'm not seeing many other people using, not seeing Kingdom Mates talking much about Yagumo, but let's take a look at how he does here. The issue here is, as with many ancients, there's really no ability to handle the spell towers. There's some damage reduction, there's some increased damage. However, your troops can get stalled by a freeze or insanity. The curse tower is going to be problematic as well. So we'll take the normal approach that you would use with Amani, or that I like to use anyway. Get that vortex down quickly. Try to get to 10 mana quickly to get that second spell. And now they are just getting stalled and cursed and mithralized. And we take down the base, but that was only a stronghold 13 and not a super convincing win. Now Yagumo definitely is effective versus bases your own level and lower. I don't think that's in question here. But the question really is, can Yagumo be used against the tougher bases? So let's try one more attack. Hopefully we'll find a base a little bit stronger. No, this one isn't really that strong. So let me go through it just kind of quickly. You can see that it's fun and effective to use against the weaker bases. And it's a very fast attack, and the graphics on it are pretty cool. So if you're going against lower bases and want to go fast, Yagumo is definitely still a good one to use. Alright, but let's take on a more serious base here. This is a pretty strong Stronghold 14, and Mist is a Stronghold 13 account, so this is should be a challenging one. And let's see if Yagumo is up to the challenge. Add a little bit more birds in here to get the mana flowing. And we'll come in opposite the flare tower, I think. The spell towers are still going to cause a problem. If we can, we're going to want to sweep the dragon to distract at the right time. See if we can manage to do that or not. On a nature daily night, the starting mana would be better. That'd be helpful. And I better sweep across there. Wow, troops got melted. Yeah, see, the problem with that second spell is that actually takes away, I think it's 10% of your hit points right off the bat. So if you got that in addition to the curse spell, and if you've got that in Sand or anything else going on, your troops can really get decimated. So I'm going to say that after the update, Yagumo is still not a highly useful ancient. Still needs some work against the spell towers. Since Mist also has a level 31 Adhira, which is much higher than mine, I thought I'd switch over and show Adhira after the buff as well. And there were a couple changes made here. Well, of course, the lightning has changed. Lightning Storm is the same. Magnetic Pulse is the same. However, on the third spell, there were some buffs so that the damage is very good, and that buildings that fall provide 1 additional mana. And the other change to Adhira is in the spell tree itself, such that she gets more starting mana. So as Adhira is leveled up even higher, I think her chance of being more effective is quite good. I'm not sure even a mid-level 30 here is going to do it, but we'll give it a try. And if you're wondering why I'm using Emberclaw here, that's about it for the choice of dragons. Alright, so in order to use the third spell, you have to mark the buildings with a static charge. That means using either the first spell or the second spell on that. And so at the beginning, we'll try to use those 2 spells, both to do damage and to disable the defenses. And then once we get enough charged up and enough mana, we'll cast that third spell and see how it does. Alright, now that second spell is very good for protecting the troops as they disable the buildings. Get a little bit more marked on the other side here. The dragon's trying to both do damage and distract. And we're close to 15, and let's go ahead and drop that. And it did okay. But it's really just not the powerful chain effect that you see with Taliesin. And so it's looking like a mid-level Adhira still isn't going to get the job done. I think it would be interesting to come back at level 50 and see how she does. So we'll have to take another look at her later on if I can get some more Lightning Primus. But right now it's a helpful buff and interesting changes to the tree, but not quite ready for prime time yet. Okay, now we're going to switch gears to look at Tokemi. She's got some very interesting changes made, and we'll look at a level 31 in this case. The first spell is kind of similar. The second one adds a debuff back. So that's handy. And the third one is really the unusual one. It exchanges buildings. It shifts buildings around that are of the same size. So this can be used to take deadly mithril buildings off a Primus conduit, or to shift a defense out of range into range where you can easily take it down. But it is kind of random, so I'm not quite sure how this one's going to work. This should be interesting. The focus on the start, you can either, if you have high mana, use that third spell to mix things up quickly. And let's just give that a shot. We'll use an epic mana potion, and we'll try out that third spell to rotate around some buildings. And we're going to do that on these spell towers and Primus Conduit and kind of see what we get here. Alright, and you see it move the Primus Conduit clear outside the base. It separated out the towers, and also there's no anti-air there now. So notice how the dragon can come right in and punch a nice hole right in the center of the base. We'll drop in the troops in that hole. We'll use that second one for a debuff right away, and then get a time flux down. Get one on the opposite side, which will slow down those defenses. And sprinkle on some more time flux and rewinds. Alright, so against an equal level base, Tokemi did pretty well. Not a big surprise. She was okay to start with before. and it's really going to be hit or miss on that third spell. All right, here's another attack hitting a similar level base. Now again, Tokemi has nothing that she can do directly against the spell towers. And so you have to use a combination of spell timing, dragon sweeps, and troop toughness in order for them to hold up. So like other ancients which have trouble with the spell towers, if your troops are kind of on par with the defense level, in other words, if you're attacking a stronghold that's similar level to yours, they're typically going to do okay. They won't die so quick that they can't take a spell tower or two. But if you're fighting up a stronghold level or two, where you're facing max defenses a few level higher than you, and with Mithril on them, they can't just sit there and take the damage. So we'll look at more ancients next time. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.